Good morning, fellow beachgoers. We're all on the beach this morning. Hi, Victoria. Good morning, everybody. I'm back on my beach today, taking a little break from the farm life. The water's super warm, and you can see the Atlantic Ocean's really calm, but the seaweed situation, it's bad. It's so bad. Yeah, still it's beautiful. And the water feels like silk on my legs. It's just such a great temperature. I would guess it's probably about 85 degrees. I don't know. And I'm so sorry for the shoddy camera work. My gimbal broke, and now I have to get a new one. But it should arrive tomorrow, so we'll wait for that. So I know you guys are wondering where I am. I've been having a very difficult month. Some stuff has been dragging me down. Not the least of all, which is getting a raging cold sore on my lower lip. And I don't know if you suffer from cold sores. You know, it's time to talk about that situation. It is horrible, and it makes me feel like disappearing, and I don't want anybody to look at me. Because it looks so bad. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Carmela. Hey, Susie. So, if you suffer from cold sores, my heart goes out to you, because it's a very debilitating virus. I was going to call it a disease, and I guess they're all diseases if you look at the definition of disease and break the word down. Dis-ease. Anyway, I've been suffering from herpes simplex, not the sexual kind. Thank God. And not that, and I'm not saying anything about you if that's your problem. It's bad. It's bad either way. I'm very happy that I don't have the second kind. But I got the first infection when I was just 6 months old. And I caught it from my mom. And she said it was a horror show. She said my poor little face swelled up. Half of it was just a balloon. I don't have to wear those big red lips, Debbie. I got them. No, it's not about what it looks like anymore, really, because I'm kind of old and over it. Unless, of course, I'm going on live for thousands of people to look at me. That's not fun, but the pain, oh, the pain. It feels like somebody is stabbing me with an ice pick in my lip, and they won't stop. And the only thing that makes that pain a little bit bearable is something with procaine in it, like Ambisol, something like that. I've learned. When I was a kid, my mother used to always give me camphophonique. She would sing this stupid song that I hated. Camphophonique makes you strong when you're weak. Yeah, screw that. I was in pain. I was in so much pain. And there she was, singing that stupid song. But, yeah. My mom's been gone since 2013. And sometimes it feels like I never even lost her. Like, she's right there, and other times it feels like I never even knew her. It's a lot of weirdness, right? Anyway, why did I get the cold sore? So I've been researching that, and I've been researching illness and disease and the sicknesses that we have and the sicknesses that we think we have. And of course, I am not at liberty to discuss anybody else's health issues, but I do want to tell you that, we've been open about the fact that Ray has been battling cancer for more than a year now, a little more than a year. And even though he's made great strides and he's been doing really well, but he's at the doctor's right now. So I need your prayers because we're going to see how well has he beaten cancer. And of course, all this going to the doctors thing. Oh, I don't like doctors. I was raised by a plastic surgeon, and I don't know if, the trauma of being a doctor's daughter is what ruined me, but I just see doctors as, in a lot of ways. And I'm not saying all doctors are like this, but, a lot of times they're just trying to do their job and go on to the next person, and they don't really take all that much time or, think about hard the person is sitting in front of them. So I'll give you an instance where I got really disappointed in the doctors. That was just a couple weeks ago. And Ray got a phone call from his doctor. He'd had a blood test, and he doesn't like needles, and he doesn't like getting a shot. So, that's a trauma in and of itself. So anyway, that went on. And so when they're getting the results back to him, the doctor's office calls, and he doesn't get the message because we were in the swamp. We're out where there is no cell phone coverage. It's a nightmare half the time. But anyway, he didn't get the message, and as soon as we got into a place where he could get his messages, he gets this message from the doctor saying, "Call back, it's urgent." I might not have a problem with it if he had called back, which he did right away, and he had spoken to the doctor immediately. But that didn't happen. What happened was he called back, and the receptionist said the doctor could not speak to him and would call him back. Well, then we proceeded to wait for hours. And I don't know if doctors realize it or not, but when you call and tell somebody that it's urgent to call you back, that person's going to be on edge until they talk to you. So I don't like that kind of language. And I don't like doctors who tell you how much time you have left on the earth. There is nobody who can tell you how much time you have left on this earth. I mean, that's the most disingenuous thing. Unless somebody is literally on life support and there's a certain amount of time they're going to die, maybe that's okay. But this, you've got 3 months, you've got 6 months. Bullshit. Stop talking to people like that. It's just wrong. Hey, Della. Hey, Carolyn. Right? I mean, who gives the doctor the right to predict anybody's life? You could have a, cancerous tumor growing on your spine like Ray did. And the doctor's there telling him, well, you got about 6 months to live and you'll never walk again. And thankfully, Ray was strong enough and had the good fortune to be in a healthy relationship where he was taken care of. I mean, the things that happened to him while he had cancer, his sister died of COVID, and his sister was his caretaker. So, and now I'm his caretaker. And it's really hard to watch somebody suffering, not with the disease, but with the uncertainty that this disease is causing in life. You can't even make a decision about next week because oh, maybe I'm going to be under the knife, or, it's so traumatizing. So everyone wants to know where I am, and I don't want to go on live and talk about this stuff because it's painful. And here I am talking about it, but, I realize that we all go through things like this. And I am not unique in what I'm dealing with. And, I know so many of you are watching going, yep, been there, done that, I've been a caretaker before, not to this extent, but, I was caring for my mother while she died of cancer. And I guess that's one of the other reasons why I think of her so often, is because her death from cancer was horrific. It was painful. It was like she was literally being tortured to death. I will not give you the details, even though I kind of want to, but I'm not going to, because it was so bad. Let's just suffice it to say she suffered greatly for many months. I know she suffered from Thanksgiving until she passed away just after New Year's. And one of the reasons that she did suffer in this way was because her doctors missed the fact that she had developed stomach cancer. She started out with a tumor on her hand. They called it Merkel cell. They said it was really rare, and they cut out all of her sentinel nodes. They did a lot of surgeries on her, and she weighed 400 pounds, maybe more. But the things that she went through as a result of her inability to control her eating. And then I don't even want to say that that's a control situation, because I believe that there are so many factors these days that can contribute to your illness, to your sicknesses, by actually, making you addicted to things like sugar, like making you eat sugar and you don't even know you're eating it for many years. And I hope people are wise enough to know now that just eating ketchup, you wouldn't think that was a sugary substance. It's full of sugar. Not just sugar, but high fructose corn syrup, which is like the worst sugar on earth. It's so bad that ours is the only country that allows it in our food. Did you know that high fructose corn syrup, last time I checked, was illegal in every other country throughout the world? Hi, Margie. My point though is that people, they get these illnesses, and then what's running their lives is the illness itself, such as going to the doctors, taking medical testing, and then waiting for the results. I liken it to going to court. If you have ever had a court case where you're being sued, you're suing someone else, or a criminal case where you're the victim, like I was in a criminal case where I was attacked and I was stalked, and several different court cases I've been through. But what I learned from court is that there is usually no clear resolution for a long time, a long time. You go to court and you think you're going to find out, whatever, and you then find out that either the case has been postponed, that was a fun one, or there's just no resolution and you have to come back another time for another reason. That's how it goes with court, and that's how it goes with medicine. Hey, Marianne. So the situation that I'd like for us all to kind of work our way out of is, stop letting these doctors, stop letting these judges, these lawyers, all these people, the bankers, they all want to have control over your life. And no, Deborah, he's not sick again. It's just he's been battling cancer. I mean, you get cancer, and I think it takes like 5 years where you don't have any cancer, and they can say you're cured. So it is only the first year. And forgive my exuberance at, seeing him walk again, seeing him be the Ray that I've, always known him to be before he got sick. But it's never that easy. But my point is that you have to stop thinking about your illness is running your life. And sometimes you do have to give it up to God. Sometimes you have to understand that there is a higher power, and it's your job to react to it in a way that is healthy. Your reaction is everything. So, and I also believe that prayers are everything, because I believe in God. I believe in God so much that I just can't see past the nastiness in the world, because all I see is this is a lesson that God wants me to learn. And if you have an illness, you have to look deep inside yourself as to why you might have that illness. I'm not saying that you blame yourself, but there are traumatic reasons why you might be sick. Or, here's the other thing. Everything's a side effect. You take a medication, Ray's taking a very strong chemotherapy medication. It's in a pill form, so it doesn't seem like, oh, that's a big deal. He's not going to a place and getting chemo every day. Oh, he's taking it in a pill form every day. And then he feels not well. As you often hear, people who have chemotherapy do not feel well. But he starts attributing that to the disease. Oh, is the cancer coming back? And I'm like, look, if you take very strong drugs, you're going to have side effects. So you have to look at the side effects from the drugs that you're taking, from the medicine that's supposed to heal you. And it's really hard for me to look at medicine as what heals you, because I don't believe in big pharma. I don't believe in doctors who take 5 seconds to look at you and they don't see the underlying cause of your disease. Only you know why you're sick, how you're sick, and how to heal yourself. Because God gave us a system. On the one hand, it's our immune system, but it's also a belief system. That if you believe in a creator and a higher power, then you should also believe that your creator and that higher power created you in his image, by the way, to be perfect. You're walking around on 2 legs, aren't you? Maybe you're not. I don't know. I think Deborah said she's walking with a cane, but my point is that you exist and you go through your day and you've got your life, and you're in your 70s, you're in your 60s, you're in your 90s, you're in your 40s, you're even 20 years old. Things are working out pretty well with that system you got going there, for the most part, right? Here you are, walking around, feeling like a whole person. And that's because God created you that way. You don't have your life because you took a pill. I know some people think, oh, if I don't get this life-saving drug, I will die. And I don't know, maybe you will. I don't know. But I also think that there's a way for you to just give it up to God and be like, heal me. If you want to be healed, You can heal yourself. You have to take responsibility for your health. You have to take responsibility for the feelings that you have and how you interpret them and react to them. That's your responsibility. It's not up to a doctor. When Ray went to get his test results, he had to go visit a doctor's office. And when he got there, he said there were like 200 people standing in line, like a cattle call. And he felt like he was back in Cuba. And he was traumatized. And I told him, leave. And he said, I'm leaving. And he left. Hi, Buff. It's good to see you. I haven't been able to talk like this because I'm going through so much kind of introspection. You know, the thing is, when you change your life to such a degree as I've done, and this is not my first rodeo. Don't forget, you guys, I changed my life from, you know, starting out as a little Pittsburgh suburban Jewish girl and, you know, became a New York City television writer and then became a Swiss housefrau after that. And then came back to America. I was a housewife, mom. You know, these are all roles that you play in life. And when my kids were grown up and I knew it was time for them to leave the nest and be their own people, I stepped back and I moved to Florida, and then I became the beach report. So I'm on the beach. But, you know, Ray has brought something into my life that, you know, I never dreamed I'd be living on a farm. I know my sister would end up on a farm. My sister Jamie, she's horsey girl. But I never thought I would end up on a farm. And here I am, living on a farm. So, you know, people are like, oh, I like you better at the beach. Well, life just isn't static. It isn't static for me. I go through so many changes. I've lived more than 9 lives. Or let's just say I've had many, many roles in life that are all very different. And the different languages, that's what really cracks me up. Is I started out learning Spanish in high school. I took 4 years of Spanish because I believed deep in my heart that I would need to know Spanish someday. And it was not wrong, because here I am with a Cuban, American Cuban. I don't know, I guess the Cuban part comes first when that's his nationality. But yes, he is my soulmate, Cheryl. You're absolutely right about that. And for that reason, you know, I can endure anything for my soulmate, because I'm not on this earth to own things. I'm not on this earth to always do the same thing, or to, like, you can't take it with you when you die. I'm here to experience life. I'm here to make meaningful connections with other people. Yeah, Buff, change is the only thing that you can count on. It's the only thing that you can know for sure it's going to happen. And people, I remember they used to always say to me, oh, you're so lucky you live on the beach. It's not luck. I wanted to live on the beach. And it's strange for me to be back here because, you know, this is my home. And when I say this is my home, I'm talking about this ocean as my home. I love the water. I love the ocean. But the ocean's always going to be here. So I can spend some time at the farm because apparently I need to have that well-rounded education where I learn how to live on a farm. And maybe I was relying too much on external communication and technology, and I needed to get taken out of that. And it's not easy. It's change, and change is not easy, but change is inevitable, and change is important, and you learn and you grow as a person when you have to change. You know, they do it in the wild. Like look at a butterfly. They start their lives out as, you know, a disgusting little worm. All right, not disgusting. I don't know. Some people think they're gross. Some of them are very pretty. Caterpillars are pretty. But from caterpillar to butterfly, you know, it's a metamorphosis. Oh, and those of you who saw my egg show about a month ago, and one of the eggs that I was featuring were gecko eggs. Well, they hatched. It took them a long time, but the geckos hatched. Bahama Mama, nice. So anyway, there's these geckos that they're going to grow, and they're going to get so big that they'll outgrow their skin, and they'll molt, and they'll become new geckos. Well, we do that every day, but you don't realize it. Our cells don't live forever. Our skin, our bodies, they change. They change all the time. And sometimes your change is by choice, and sometimes your change is forced on you. And sometimes your change is inspired by God. Well, I think all the changes are inspired by God. I believe in my heart that we are here to learn lessons. And I do a lot of research about that. I read what all the gurus say, you know, and I listen to podcasts, and I watch YouTube videos, and there's so much out there to learn and to know about. But one thing is that when people are confronted with a reality like, oh, you're going to die, but then you can be reborn and you can have another life, they're like, I would never want to come back to life again. You know, and I think that's really sad, because even though it can be very hard, and life can be very hard, it can also be really rewarding. And, you know, for the lowest times in your life, you're going to have amazing times in your life. And for the hardest lessons, there are great rewards. And that reward isn't usually monetary or physical, but it's a feeling, because you can be very wealthy and you can live in a beautiful home, and you can have a car, a nice car, and a nice boat, and whatever else, you know, you think you need, and you can be very unhappy. So, you know, it's not all that it's cracked up to be, but it all comes down to, are you happy with yourself? Are you learning? Are you growing? Are you changing? Have you changed your opinion about something that you felt very strongly about in the past, and now you find that you're wrong? Or have your convictions been strengthened by your experiences? I'm a girl with pretty strong opinions. I guess you all know that by now. And it's not that it's hard to change my mind, because I'm very open-minded and I'm willing to look into anything and figure anything out. But there are just some things that I can't compromise on. And lying to people and pursuing anything just with the result of making a lot of money, that's not something I can deal with. So sorry if my sound is bad. I'm wearing, I've got my headphone thing on. You can listen to the sound of the waves. Or I can sing. I've been in this really weird it's Broadway musical mode where Ray is like, oh my God. He is like constantly laughing at me all the time because I get into these musicals and I sing them, and he's like, how do you know the words to everything? I don't know. Oh, I'm glad you guys can hear me. Hi, Debbie. Oh, good. So the thing that I want to most impress upon everybody, even including myself, is that don't let things bother you so much that you hurt yourself. You know, don't let your so-called addictions to things like cigarettes, alcohol, even food, online shopping. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to move the camera away from those girls. Sorry. I'm not being judgy because I don't look much better than they do. I mean, that's the other thing that changed. The body changes. And right now I'm not happy with the way my body's changing. I'm not happy with the 30 pounds I've gained. It doesn't feel right on me. So I've been working really hard to get rid of this excess weight. And I'm sorry I can't see a lot of your comments. When I look down, sometimes I can see them, but it's really bright out here. I haven't been able to talk to you guys like this for a long time. You know, one reason is because I'm always with Ray, and he doesn't always want to be live, you know. Some people value their privacy, and I kind of gave it up to you guys for a while there. Hi, Mercy. But I also feel like I made some amazing friends. And for you, those of you who are just coming on now, here's what's happening. Ray's at the doctor's right now, so I'm asking for your prayers that he gets a good bill of health. As you know, of course, he's very worried about what's the doctor going to say. And every ache and pain that he has had in the last week is like, could it be this? Could it be that? It's been very difficult. So I haven't really wanted to go live since we were in the Everglades with Gina and Jeff and Gina's dad. And we had such a wonderful, wonderful time. And the only reason that I even know Gina is because of my show. If you recall, she was my contest winner. She came down to Fort Lauderdale. She won a weekend at Jill's, which is way more fun than a weekend at Bernie's. I think Gina will agree with that. But, you know, it's a cancer diagnosis. It's a scary thing. It is. But I just think it's so important when you're diagnosed with anything, be it cancer or herpes simplex. You know, you have to look within yourself and you have to think, well, why is this happening? And how can I make changes in my life that will contribute to my health as opposed to make me more ill? Or what if I die? You know, that's another possibility that can happen at any time. And for the past year, more than a year, we have been, as a society, actually as a world, we have been obsessed with defeating death. And that's one of the things about this pandemic, that infuriates me. Because it's fear-mongering. It's scaring people into thinking, I'm going to die, and focusing on that. You're going to die. And I know I said it so many times over the last year. I pointed out, I think I talked about it every day for a while there, you will die. That's one thing you can count on, is you are going to die. Yeah, Buff, you can't blame God. God is working with you, and He doesn't want you to die. I mean, prematurely, or whenever. You know, your life on earth is individual. You're an individual, and that's another thing that everybody's trying to forget, is that we're not a group. You can't immunize everybody. You can't make blanket statements. Everybody's going to die. That's just so stupid. Each one of us is an individual. And we react individually and different to different stimulus. And what's true for her might not be true for him, and might be completely off kilter for them, and it might be perfect for you. You don't know. Exactly, Clarissa. All good things come from God, and that's your life. Don't be afraid of your death. Do you think that before you're born, you're in the womb thinking, how the hell do I get out of here? You know? Maybe you are. I don't think my daughter was thinking that, because she was in there for 2 weeks too long. I'll never forget the doctor. Every time I had another ultrasound, as those 2 weeks were passing by, he'd say, she feels well in there. I'm like, she's not welcome anymore. And I think the greatest trauma you can do, the worst way to traumatize a child, is to make them fear death. Because kids don't understand. What they're doing to children today is going to be with us for many decades to come, when we have a generation of people who are terrified of dying. You can't be afraid of it, because it's going to happen. So stop fearing it. And you're right, Buff, we have an expiration date, each one of us. I think each one of us chooses. I mean, not just the suicidal people. They choose too. Obviously, I guess they're the ones maybe with the most choice. But you can go out in a spectacular, car crash, or spectacular maybe isn't the best word for that, or you die in your sleep, or you die on a boat. I don't know, you drowned or whatever. That's how people go. It is what it is. And you can't feel bad for dead people. I feel like all the people in my life who have died, and that's pretty much everyone. My grandparents, my parents, aunts and uncles, some cousins. But I still have a big family left. But all the initial people are all dead. And I think, they're missing out. Are they missing out? Have they reincarnated? Are they somebody else? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that whatever happens after you die, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's an experience that we all get to have. Every one of us. You're right, Madeline. When Jesus comes, you be ready. And you be ready by letting him know that you believe in him. And you have to believe in him so much that if you're sick, you have to believe that you're either going to get better because of healing within yourself, or you're going to die. And then you're going to meet him in person. And I joke about that because I believe that God is in every one of us.